about why men chase and want to stay with you, and we're going to show you how to cheat-proof your marriage.
Ooh, this is going to be good. Ladies, we have been talking about this, really understanding the masculine and feminine dynamics, why people cheat, how to cheat proof your relationship. So, we're on this episode going to go deep on even before you guys are married, what you need to do as a woman to really protect yourself, but most importantly, how to choose wisely.
Yes.
Right. And so we'll give you some tips there. And then we will talk about how we have really cheat proofed our marriage, things that we do in our marriage so we don't even have to deal with any of that drama that you see on social media with couples who end up cheating on each other. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm excited to jump in. We're going to go deep and really give you all the details surrounding it, what you need to do specifically, understanding you can only control yourself,
Yeah.
but how to keep your conscience clear so you can have a successful marriage
Yeah.
and relationship leading up to marriage. And for those of you that are just joining us, I'm Coach B, former lifelong bachelor who found and married my beautiful wife, Coach Tosh, who was a former single mom of four.
Yes. What's up, ladies? I'm Natasha. As my husband was saying, I was a super single, widowed mom with 4 little kiddos when I re entered the dating scene later in life. And the game had changed, right, ladies? The game has changed since, I was first married. So I was where you are right now with all the trauma and nervous system dysregulation and all of that stuff, plus trying to date with 4 little kids. So I learned a lot to the point where I'm now not only a certified hormone coach, I'm a nurse by trade, but I also now help women in the area of just really re-regulating their nervous system, their feminine energy, and their hormones so that they can create that magnetism in their dating life and in their marriage so that they can attract their amazing provider husband.
Yes.
Like what I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you ready to jump into it?
Yeah, and before we do that, actually, I want to mention that we got the receipts, ladies. We have helped over 5,000 women in this area. We've had multiple engagements and marriages.
Yes.
Last year, we had 12 already. And I was just talking to one of our girls who just was recently posting because her and her guy, they're ring shopping. They're about to get engaged. And, she came to us and she was so dysregulated. Like so many women that we coach just been cheated on, the trauma from that, and just didn't know how to deal with her emotions. How can you even trust men? How do you even date and not feel anxious and stressed? And it's so beautiful to watch our ladies go from that state where they have maybe been cheated on or they just haven't had that safety in a relationship before, and going from that to engaged, married, living their best life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now we can go into it.
We can go into it and just sharing this at the beginning.
Yeah.
For me and for us, cheating comes down to being married. Now, anything before that is someone really being committed to moving forward, but officially cheating is when you're married. So if it's no commitment,
Yeah.
They broke boundaries, they broke promises, but it's not officially cheating.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's jump into that then.
Yes.
Let's talk about the before marriage phase. Okay. So, what do you do in the before marriage phase? Because that is a huge part of it. But we also understand we attract women into the Feminine Energy Academy, into our programs, who are already married and they're dealing with this. So, don't worry, girls, we got you as well. But going back to the dating stage, the one challenge that women have is they often think that they are in a relationship when they're not.
Yes.
So maybe you can talk about that first, and we'll talk about how to choose differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's so important to understand because even when you're dating, moving toward marriage, women have to understand that until it's official, it's not official. When I say that, that means the man initiates the conversation, talking about, okay, we're dating exclusively for marriage. Now, if he just tells you you're dating exclusively, it's no timetable, we're just figuring things out, then with no end, it's not really a relationship. It's more of a situationship because he wants to occupy your time. He wants to make sure that no one else has access to you. But officially dating is when he asks you. So I don't care how good the relationship is going. I don't care how many times, you've gone out of town with each other. You go to nice restaurants. He spends the night. Maybe he stays there with you. But it's not an official relationship until he initiates it. Now, what we've seen often is Okay, she's initiating it. We've been together. Now she has her boundaries up. Okay, what are we? Are we going to do this? And in those cases, most men are going to say we're together. If you put the pressure on them and they like being around you, they don't want to lose your access to you, they'll tell you what you want to hear. But a healthy relationship that's leading to marriage is when he initiates the conversation, when he gives you a timetable on how long he sees you dating and potentially getting engaged and married, like we did. Like when we officially got together, I gave her a timeline. I let her know I wanted to be with her, but I also gave her a timeline. Then it's official. So make sure the definition is correct before you jump out there, before you commit yourself, your time, your energy, you stop rotationally dating and you give it all to him. Make sure it's officially a relationship first.
Yes, we see this all the time with the women that we coach and on here as well, where you meet a great guy and then you guys like each other and then the next thing you know you're exclusive with him. So that is going to be my very first point here, ladies, is you need to have dating strategy. And not only dating strategy, you need to deeply understand this part. Okay, lean in for a second, ladies. You attract your energetic match. You attract your energetic match. The type of men you are attracting into your life or have attracted into your life is simply mirroring your energy. So you cannot get mad at the guys. I want you to take your power back. We're going to stop outsourcing our power. You know, if you're triggered by this, that's okay. God only reveals to heal. But you're attracting your match. So if you're attracting men that are really hot at the beginning, and then they breadcrumb you, they're hot and consistent at the beginning, and then they fall away, they are mirroring your energy. I've coached thousands of women, and I have yet to see this not be true.
Yes.
Okay, so the great thing about that is you can pause if you are dating, if you don't like what you're attracting, and really understand that, okay, until I heal my own wounds, my abandonment wounds, my anxious attachment wounds, my nervous system, actually skilling up. I actually have a dating strategy. I'm not just falling into a relationship with guys. Until you do that, you're going to keep playing in that same pattern. But once, like the ladies that we coach that end up attracting amazing men, getting engaged and married, and feeling really safe and secure in the dating stage, and then of course in the marriage stage, these are women 100% of the time that have paused and did their inner work. They did their inner healing so that their nervous system felt safe to create a healthy man that wanted to show up consistently. Yeah, go ahead.
And I want to add to that point because
Yeah.
it's so important as you ladies are transitioning from one relationship to the next
Yeah.
to make sure the work is done, because what's going to happen if you don't do the work, whatever caused you to end that relationship, whatever you were holding on to, whatever potential insecurities you had are going to go over to the next relationship. So you're going to attract guys, if you attracted guys previously that cheat on you, guys that aren't committing to you, you're going to continue to attract that. So like you said, the first point is to have that clarity and understanding and make sure you're healed
Yeah.
before entering into a relationship. Because just because someone else is nice and they're doing everything opposite of what the previous guy did doesn't mean it's not going to end the same way, specifically if you haven't done any work. So that's super important and key when you're looking at, okay, what's the next step? Okay, I'm ready now. At first I wasn't ready, but have you done the work? Because if you haven't, we're going to see a lot of the same similar results.
Yeah. And this is, once again, something that you don't have to judge yourself for. Just get curious. Like, okay, I'm dating. This is what I'm attracting. Okay, this is not what I'm liking, or this is what I like. That's feedback for you. You are just getting feedback when you are dating, ladies. But the challenge with so many women who have not taken time to heal their nervous system, they have all the head knowledge, and you're beautiful. You're likely a very beautiful woman, very successful, right? And so you're used to attracting people. That's not the issue for you. But then, when you start dating, you get attached really easily, right? And that's the issue with a lot of women. You get attached really easily, and then and then he is saying whatever he needs to say, and you're just hooked on him, right? And versus actually taking time to heal your nervous system, getting energetic clarity on exactly what you're calling in, the exact type of man that wants to pursue you, and then he's starting to mirror that back to you.
Yeah. And I'll just
Yeah.
add to it because especially right now, so much is going on, especially on the internet, and we talked about it previously with I believe Christy and Desmond
Yep.
with their relationship and him allegedly cheating
Yeah.
on her. One thing to understand because a lot of women are like, okay, they've been together forever,
Yeah.
they just look so good together. That's my couple goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly what happened. One thing to understand, men don't just slip into cheating. It's not like they're walking down the street and then next thing you know, whoops, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, it's a process that happens, and it's never who if the other person cheats, it's never the person who didn't cheat's fault. So I'll say that first. It's never that. But
Yeah.
it's things that you can put in place so you can protect yourself from that and signs that you can see. So the polarity, the communication in the relationship, a lot of times when that breaks down, communication and the polarity and continuing to allow him to feel like the man in the relationship. And that could be him doing it, that could be you doing it, whatever the case, those things can't get overlooked because when those small things get overlooked, it's piece by piece. It's
Yeah.
not at one time. It's not having the conversations. It's you, okay, well, this is how I am. This is who I am. They just have to deal with it. They're not going anywhere. No, those are places where conversations have to be had. Those are places where you have to stop and understand, okay, something's not right in it. Let's talk about it, what's going on. Let me go out of my way. And it could be small things. It could be, okay, just she's sad today. Let me go speak to her, make sure she's okay. Because if you're not doing it, you don't want to open that door for someone else to step in or for a vulnerable moment. And again, it's never your fault, but you want to make sure that you're able to be there to provide, protect, be there where they're needed, specifically the man for the woman, and the woman understanding what the man needs on the communication side, needs to feel like a man. Those things are the way you can cheat proof your relationship. Is by you being proactive and understanding what the opposite sex needs.
Okay, so that's really good. So that brings us to our next point, which is we're talking about you're actually in the relationship, you're actually in the marriage. How do you actually cheat proof your relationship, your marriage? So exactly what Coach B is saying and what we spoke about this week, one of the biggest things is understanding that men and women don't just fall into cheating, right? So if you were even ignoring red flags at the beginning, okay, so that's part of it. But, let's assume for a moment you're in a healthy relationship, like in our situation,
Yeah.
healthy relationship, healthy marriage. How do you cheat proof your relationship? How do you cheat proof your marriage? And so the one thing that we were talking about here is keeping polarity. This is a part that gets overlooked all of the time in relationships, especially with boss babes. Women, which is so many women. And once again, we're not blaming the boss babes at all, but we're just helping you understand why this stuff happens. It doesn't just happen. So when a woman is very much in her masculine energy, she's building businesses, she's successful, she's even just taking care of the kids, right? Like she's just busy and she's focused and she's in her doing energy. That's masculine energy, is doing energy. And who knows what he's doing? He might be in that energy as well. And then that relationship gets neutralized because you're both very much in your masculine energy. You're in your masculine energy, he's in his masculine energy. There's no room for polarity and attraction to happen anymore. That's one of the biggest reasons why relationships and marriages break down. They lose attraction for each other because you've neutralized your marriage, your energies. And then, or sometimes, a man will start to lean back. He's allowing you to lead, and this is all unconscious. This is all like people are not aware of this, right? And it doesn't matter who's making more money, who's better looking, and like actually has nothing to do with that. I mean, look at the Christy situation. She's drop dead gorgeous. She's a 10 out of 10. You cannot get more beautiful and perfect looking than her, right? But she still got cheated on. And this happens to a lot of women. And not every man cheats, but understanding polarity in your relationship is one of the greatest superpowers you can have to really help you guys keep that strong connection. So so outside forces don't intervene.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I'll reiterate what you were saying as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're making more money.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have more notoriety.
Yeah.
You're more popular, whatever the case is. that doesn't matter and that doesn't affect
Yeah.
the fact of having a healthy relationship. It's you understanding that your relationship between each other, how you feel about each other, how you talk to each other, that matters most. Now, how not living how you're viewed, not trying to get attention from the outside world, but how you treat each other is what matters the most for a man. So you could be, have 1 million followers and he has 1,000. Men don't care about that. Healthy
Yeah.
masculine energy men aren't seeking attention. They don't need to be the face of anything. Most healthy
Yeah.
masculine energy men are behind the scenes getting stuff done. They're
Yeah.
taking care of business. Okay, you go ahead. I'm right here. I'm making sure you're protected. I'm
Yeah.
making sure you're safe. I'm making sure you have everything that you need. So that's how healthy masculine energy men move. It's not that, okay, you're more, people know you and, I don't know why people, no. We don't care about that. So it's the polarity and understanding that you can make more money, you can be the face of whatever, but even in your relationship, you allow him to be the man. You allow him to lead. You allow him to feel like he's the head of the house. He's making decisions. That's what matters most with healthy masculine energy men.
That's so good, babe. Ladies, most women right now don't deeply understand what the masculine needs, and they don't understand how to communicate with the masculine. This is across the board. I don't care how successful you are. We have seen this with the most success. I mean, look at celebrities, right? Perfect example. All the money in the world, gorgeous, can't be more beautiful than that. But they haven't taken time to actually understand how to communicate in a relationship to keep polarity. Most women, and I'm talking to the women for a second, I'm not to pick on the women, but that's our audience is mostly women, right? But the women have a lot of women. You've taken time to go get your degrees. You got your PhD. Your therapists, your coaches. I understand this because this is majority of the women that we coach. You're super smart. You've read the books. You know a lot of the stuff at a head knowledge, but actually embodying this is a different story. And because at a nervous system level, you don't really understand how to embody that magnetic feminine energy, he's naturally leaning more into his feminine, you're naturally moving more into your masculine, and it's destroying the polarity. And then on top of it, how you talk to him. That is one of the biggest things that we teach our ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy is how to talk to men. And I promise you, it's not the way you've been taught
Oh.
and what comes natural to you.
And how you talk to them, because
Yeah.
you brought up a great point. Because a lot of times, especially with so much, again, with all the content, everything, it's funny, we're laughing, but understand if you disrespect a man, it can be in public, it can be in private,
Yeah.
and you don't understand what respecting a man looks like, and you're laughing, it's funny. Most healthy masculine energy men, once you disrespect them, then he's going to step back and the relationship's going to be affected if it's not dealt with right away. Also, if it's something that's ongoing, or if it's something you're doing to get laughs because your friends, they always think it's funny, he's going to really pull himself from the relationship. He's going to be in it, but he won't be present. And that's how you start going down that line where, okay, he went from being not present to physically not present.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, he's never coming home, who you with. And it's small things like that, addressing them, having humility, understanding that even though, you may be funny to your friends, it may be funny on the internet, disrespecting a man is the quickest way to lose the polarity in the relationship. Overall, to lose any type of relationship with a man, and this could be man and man, just a regular relationship. It could be a business relationship, but disrespecting a man is the easiest way to lose the polarity in a relationship. It has to be addressed, even if he's not saying anything. If okay, maybe that crossed the line a little bit. Let me talk to him. Let me see what's going on. Having those uncomfortable conversations at the time is important because men will hold on to it. Men will remember it, and you'll get less of him and less of him each day because you don't respect him.
And the other thing that we see a lot is just going back to how women talk to men and disrespecting them is being in that bossy energy.
Yeah.
And women, we've normalized this, right? Because women have had to fight for their rights and all that stuff, which is fine. But when it comes to having a juicy romantic marriage, it's not going to work. That will destroy polarity in your relationship faster than anything is when you are bossing him around or you're mothering him. You're coaching him, you're mothering him. And we understand this because we coach so many really good-hearted women. This often happens to the women that are the good-hearted women. They're just trying to help. They're just trying to provide for their family. They're just trying to help him, right? And so they're telling him what to do. They're talking down to him without realizing it, bossing him around without realizing it, mothering him. I'll just do it. I can do it better. Without realizing it, and it completely destroys the polarity. That's what I need you ladies to understand. And he'll stay there, but mentally, he'll check out. Right? And, and then that just triggers a whole bunch of other things in the relationship. But that is the biggest thing, is just really understanding how to communicate with the masculine in the dating phase and in the marriage phase. And we have coached women who have been cheated on in marriage, and their marriage has completely turned around. And this is one of the biggest things that we work on is, of course, your energies, your polarity, but how you're communicating with him. And then the man usually, he aligns with it. Yeah.
And before we move on to the next point, you're probably saying, well, how do I know it's me? A lot of times what we see is ladies that have been single moms for a while. You've had small children, and it's a lot of times it's easier for you to do it. Like, you know what, just give it to me. I'll get it done. I have so much going on. I don't have time to show you. I don't have time to let you know what I want. So I'll just do it myself. And boss ladies who you're running businesses, and it may be a self-employment business where you have 1 or 2 employees, and it's easier and quicker for you to get it done yourself. And then you take that same energy to a relationship where it's like, you know what, just give it to me, I'll do it, let me check it out, instead of just allowing him. And sometimes he won't do it exactly the way you would, or it may not come out exactly the same, but you have to be willing to allow him to do it. And that's something that, even understanding, we're entrepreneurs, we have people that work with us, and it's us allowing them as well. Like, you know what, it's not exactly how I'll do it, but I have to trust you, and I have to allow you to be who you are and do what's being asked. So it's the same energy that you use in your business, but you don't want to take it into a relationship because it'll take all the polarity out. He'll find himself throwing his hands up, he'll say little slick stuff, and he'll just leave it alone. And over time, you'll turn into business partners, or you'll turn into friends, instead of having polarity where he really wants to be with you, because it's all about how a man feels around a woman. Not what you do or anything like that. How does he feel when he's around you? If he doesn't feel like there's polarity in it, then it'll be distance and the relationship won't move forward.
And he's not going to use this language. Most people don't understand this language, right? It's just like they'll use language like, I'm just not feeling in love anymore, right? I'm just not feeling it anymore. Or in some cases, I don't like this person anymore, right? Those are all signs that the polarity has gone. And it's these little subtle things where maybe you still care about each other, but there's no attraction there anymore. And we're not talking about physical attraction. We're talking about like the actual bonding, chemistry, energetic attraction there. Okay, there's so much more we can go into, but let's go into another point here. Some ways that we really cheat-proof our marriage. One of the biggest things, of course, I have to bring this up, is keeping God center of everything that we do. Because that is, I personally haven't seen marriages work where God is not the center of it. Because the man needs to be submitted to something, right? So as you as the wife are submitted under the head of the home, which is your husband, right? And we're talking godly marriages. Obviously, this doesn't apply to everybody. This is just what we believe. And so as the woman, for me, when I was in my dating stage, and I encourage you to do this too. It's like you are choosing who to submit to, ladies. And so if you're looking at the man and you're looking at how he's living his life, if he's all over the place, if he is like a loose cannon, if he doesn't walk in integrity, if he doesn't have self-control, if he's not showing up consistently, these are signs of healthy masculinity. If he doesn't have that, you cannot get mad if you chose to be in a relationship with a guy like this, right? Because you're not going to be able to submit to that. Naturally, you're going to naturally lean into your masculine energy because you don't feel safe being around him. But that's the guy you chose, right? So when you're in the dating stage, you're looking at, this is what I was looking at, is okay, this person I'm going to have to submit to, right? And when I say submit, I'm not saying you don't have a voice, you don't have opinion. That's not what I'm talking about. Somebody needs to lead the household.
Yeah.
Someone needs to take on that responsibility. The provider, the head provider, he's making sure all the bills are paid. The head protector, he's making sure everyone is safe at all times, right? That's what we're talking about. So you as a woman, all that power is on you, girl. Like, you're the one that gets to choose who to be with and who to submit yourself to, not only you, but your kids, right? So where was I going with this? So when I was dating, that's one thing I was looking at, right? And then so what I'm looking at is, okay, who is he submitted to?
Yes.
So for you ladies, who is he submitted to? If he's not submitted to anybody, who is he following? Because that's where he's taking you, babe. So it was so important for me that my husband, my future husband, was submitted unto God. And not just saying that. There's fruit in his life. There's a reverence there. There's a fear of God there. There's someone keeping him in check. Because if there's no one keeping him in check, then you're exposed, lady, right?
Yes. And it's so important because most men want to lead their women. You get in a relationship, you just want to be the leader. You want to be looked at in that way.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to see even before you get with them, because a lot of times it's like, okay, what questions do I need to ask to know if he's a leader, to know if he's a provider? What do I need to say to him? You don't need to say much. You just need to watch them. And that's what we always tell the ladies. Don't only listen to what they're saying, watch what they're doing. So if they're disciplined, if they're integrous, if, the type of job that they have, if how are they on that job? Are they consistently there? Are they moving up in the job? Have they gotten stuck at one position for the last 20 years? These are signs to know. Not only are they a leader, but how they view things. Okay, do they want more? You don't have to ask them, do they want more?
Yeah.
Just look at how they're living their life. Are they always moving forward? Not where that's killing them and that's just taking all their time, but they're always looking to advance. They're reading books about self-development.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Because these are the signs that show what type of person that you're going to follow. Because if they're not doing these things now, you're not going to change them and make them this type of person. I don't care how powerful you are. Okay, he just hasn't been with me yet. Once he gets with me, I'm going to level him up. You walk around thinking that, you're going to find yourself in relationships where you're the masculine, where you're the leader, where you get your hormones are all over the place because you're functioning outside of the way you were naturally designed to function. So really doing the phase of getting to know someone. And it doesn't take 6 months. It doesn't take a year to see what type of man that you're potentially dating. No, you see this on a consistent basis. How often is he following up, calling me on time? The small things that he does is what you want to pay attention to, because this is a person that you'll potentially be led by the rest of your life. And that's why it's important for us as men to have a leader, because if we don't, whatever we think about, we're going to do. And that may change every week, every month, because now it's like, okay, I got to chase the bag. I got to chase this. And we'll find ourselves doing a whole bunch of stuff, but not going anywhere because we're doing it out of our own strength. And that's why you want to be led by a man who's led by God.
That's so good. And then in the marriage, we're taking time every day. We're praying together. We're talking about the Word of God. We're checking each other. We're checking in with each other. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about your opinion, my opinion. The Word of God trumps everything, right? And that's just how we've been able to have an amazing marriage, right? We've been married a year and a half. Yes. But a year and a half and things have been amazing, right? And no fighting. We don't fight. Even if we have disagreements, we talk it out because we have the skills, right? Going back to what we were talking about before, my nervous system is healed. His nervous system is healed, right? So when we come together, we have that safety with each other and we can communicate. We can have the difficult conversations. We can work through challenges together without yelling at each other and being triggered and being mean to each other, right?
So
okay, so the last but not least, and we'll get to you guys' questions. You guys can comment your questions below. But the other thing I just wanted to talk about, this is so huge for us, and a lot of people don't have this. Boundaries in
Yeah.
marriage. Maybe you can talk about that because you love talking about boundaries in marriage and what we do to protect our marriage.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
boundaries are so important and it looks different for everyone. So it's not a set rule, set list of
Yeah.
boundaries like, okay, this is a boundary that everybody does. It's you really having those conversations beforehand and understanding what's important to the other person.
Yeah.
And we have our boundaries in place, and a lot of them will just came naturally in conversation. Some come up
Yeah.
as you move forward, as you develop,
Yeah.
as you mature, as you grow in the relationship,
Yep.
new boundaries may come up and you have
Yeah.
to be open to it. It's not like, okay, that wasn't a boundary at first. Why is it a boundary now? Well, everybody's at a different place as you continue to learn and grow. You're learning not only about them, but you're learning more about yourself, more about what's acceptable for you, what you're comfortable with. And we talked about so many boundaries before, in between, and even now, and boundaries around how we raise the kids, boundaries
Yeah.
around who we're talking to, boundaries around who we spend time with. And just a couple of them, even us personally, we have boundaries around, okay, we're not having one-on-one conversations with the opposite sex via text, via phone call, any of that. That's something that we've made a decision. Now, within our communities,
Yeah.
of course, I'll talk to some of the ladies in the community, but she has access to everything. She can go in under my name. She can look at all the conversations. But that's just something that we put in place not only to make sure that we feel good, but to protect it. Because you don't want to open certain doors
Right.
if you don't have to. You don't just go around opening doors like this is Price is Right and let me see what's behind there, right? No,
stupid.
some things you just have to make that decision. I don't even need to know what's behind that. So our boundaries in place are to protect us individually and our marriage. And we have so many that we can go over, but you want to add a few to it, even that we put in place?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing, like what you're saying, is talking about it before you even get married is so important. Boundaries, here's some topics for you ladies to talk about, okay? In the dating phase. And you're not going to be drilling him with questions. Do not do that. He's going to run. There's a time and there's a place and there's an energy really with how you're doing this. But you're talking about boundaries around, hey, what's the role with the man and the woman? What do
Yeah.
you think the role is with the husband versus the wife, right? Because there's different boundaries. For example, I don't pick up the garbage. I don't touch the garbage. The kids take out the garbage.
Yeah.
We talked about that. Paying bills, who's paying bills? Who's taking care of that? How you're raising the kids. That's really important. When we were first dating and first marriage, it was important for me that he was building relationships and rapport with the kids first before you don't just come in as a disciplinarian, right? You got to build that relationship first. And then as that trust is built, then you have that space to to discipline the kids, not physically, but with rules and boundaries. And as a man, he really needed to feel like he had that space to do that. And then talking about finances, talking about your relationship, and talking about how you're raising the kids is so important.
Yeah. And these conversations have to occur. And the reason they have to occur is they're going to come up. If you're in a long-term relationship, dating for marriage, you're married, these are things that are going to come up. So it's important that you don't tell him, but you kind of get his thoughts on it.
Yes.
What are your thoughts around this? That's how you approach it. Not tell me, okay, do men pay or women pay? No, he's going to tell you something you don't want to hear. But understanding how to have these conversations, understanding the importance around it, and being open to things changing as far as how they're viewing things as you move forward. Now, fundamentally, things want to remain the same, but when we're talking about making tweaks to how things work, being open to it, because having those conversations around boundaries, especially when you get a healthy masculine energy man, is so important because men like for their women to be presented a certain way. Men like, okay, they like when women understand, and this may hurt a couple of ladies, it's not meant to hurt you, but when women understand their role as the wife. That's important because I'm a coach. I'm all about roles. Everyone has a role.
Yeah.
The man has a role. The
Yeah.
woman has a role. The kids have a role. And if people don't function within their role, then everything gets messed up. It's hard to win
Yeah,
if
any
people aren't in
sports.
their role in any sport. If you start doing stuff that's not your skill set, you're doing stuff that's not meant for you to do, then everyone's affected. So understanding that we have roles first, then
Yes.
understanding how to function in your role, and just being open, and this is both parties, being open to being coachable in a sense of I didn't know that's how you felt. So now you're teaching me how to treat you. You're teaching me how to be good to you, how to be that husband that you need, not the husband that you had before. But you have to teach each other how to be spouses to each other and what makes you feel good and what's healthy for the relationship.
Yeah, that was so good, babe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning process,
Yes.
and you've never fully arrived. But this is why it's so good to be on that journey ahead of time. When you're on this journey ahead of time, you're doing your own inner work. You're really getting your own validation. You don't need a man to validate you. You don't need a man to make you happy. You don't need a man to make you feel fulfilled. That's your starting point as a woman. If you need someone else to make you happy, it's going to be an uphill battle in dating and in marriage. That 100% is your starting point. But then also just skilling up in the area of communication. I'm going to keep talking about that because it's so, so important. The reason why we've had such a successful dating experience and marriage experience, and our ladies have, is because of just understanding how to communicate with each other. And like what you said, teaching each other what each other needs, but coming from a place of wholeness, coming from a place of love, coming from a place of compassion, and holding space for each other to talk about things and be vulnerable with each other. You're not just vomiting because you're triggered, like most women, I'm going to be honest, and men too. But so many people are just so triggered, and I don't like how he said this. Why did he do this? Why is he doing that? Why is he not doing that? And you're so triggered by all your abandonment wounds, all your rejection wounds, all your daddy wounds, and you're just expect him to come in as your savior and know everything. And that's just not going to happen because you always attract your energetic match. Yeah.
And just adding to what Brianna said, ladies, don't be afraid to do the inner work and start to heal. It's worth it. And a lot of times, we want to invest in the stock market. We're investing in, let me save 20,000 so I can buy this house. We invest in things that we see tangibly.
Yes.
But the work is done when we invest in things that aren't seen intangibly.
So good, babe.
The things inner on the inside that nobody else sees. When you do that work, and you talk about this so much, babe. I know you talked about you invested over 100K within in yourself.
Yes.
When you do that, the payback for that, the payout when you invest in yourself is much more than any investment in the stock market, in a house, anything like that, because the results you get, who you attract, the people that want to be around you when you're whole and healthy, the man, the husband that you attract, all of that just goes to another level when you do the inner work. So it's important that you not only listen, take notes. Okay, this is good information. I like what y'all talking about, Coach B, Coach Tosh. I'm gonna try some of it. No, it's when you make a decision to embody this information and do the work continuously. And that's why the ladies in the FEA, the Feminine Energy Academy, they've seen so many great results. And that's on the relationship side. They've seen it on the business side. Every area is affected when you do the inner work.
Yeah. Speaking of which, tomorrow we're doing a masterclass, and that's what we're going deep in. Because, ladies, how you do anything is how you do everything. And the one pattern, or I should say, the two patterns that mirror each other, is your relationship with the masculine in relationships, but also your relationship with the masculine when it comes to finances, right? So if you notice that men and money aren't showing up consistently for you, maybe it comes and then it goes. It comes, but then it's not consistent. You're stressed, you're anxious around either one of those things. You don't feel like you have the skills or the confidence to manage a healthy dating marriage life and healthy finances. That is a pattern that you're playing in. And so the biggest thing that I teach the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy, because yes, it's true, I spent over 100K in my personal development way before he came into the picture, because I had so much wounds that needed healing. My nervous system was so dysregulated. I was, the boss babe, of course, the mom. I wanted it all, but I needed to increase my capacity to hold it all energetically, spiritually, physically, even having the skills and the confidence to hold all these different things. And now I can. Now I get to have the amazing, juicy marriage to my romantic best friend, where he gets to be the head, he gets to be the masculine provider. I get to chill and be my soft girl energy, the spoiled rich wife. But I also get to have multiple businesses, right? I get to have enough energy and feel good in my body and my hormones, my nervous system. I get to be the mom. I get to be the sports mom. I get to have it all because I invested into myself even more than buying a new car or buying the luxury handbags, because that's not going to do anything for you, babe, compared to you investing into you. You are your highest return on investment. And so, so tomorrow we're doing a masterclass. You can jump in. Last week's masterclass was insane. It was so good. It was a 4-hour deep training. It was the first masterclass of the year, where I was walking these ladies through identifying subconscious love blocks and helping them really become that clean, energetic match to the exact type of masculine that they're calling in. It was so fire. So you get access to that. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing the same thing, but we're doing it around money and finances, so that you can call in and hold, expand your capacity to receive higher cash months, even if you're a single mom, like how I was. Yeah.
And one of the questions from our video that talks about if he's not stepping up, do this, said he's halfway stepping up. Okay, he's halfway. So initiating plans and then
Lord
canceling. Jesus. So what do I do?
Okay, this is a really good question. So if you're attracting men who are taking initiative and then they cancel, they're taking initiative, maybe they even take you out on a date or a couple dates and then they fall off, they are mirroring your energy. So don't get mad at yourself. I don't want you to get triggered mad at yourself. But I'm willing to bet if we did some deep diving, there's areas in your life where you're half showing up. Okay? So this is a perfect example of why you should do that masterclass that I just did last week. I'll link it below under here for you. It's actually linked right now in the Feminine Energy Academy. Go and do that. And this is why you need to become that clean, energetic match for what it is that you're calling in, because otherwise people will keep mirroring your energy. I don't care how beautiful you are, how many degrees you have, you go to church, you serve in church, all those things, it does not matter. At the end of the day, people are mirroring your energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's never about men being intimidated because you're so beautiful, you have so much going on, they don't know how to talk to you. No, it's the energy that you're giving out is what they're mirroring. So important. So this is a good one right here. When you detach, he always comes back. That was our video. So we have a comment said, I'm going to have to believe and trust this. It has been months of silence, but I'm still growing up physically and professionally, and it's been legendary. But I'm certainly not waiting for him, just believing that he will come back. So I'll let you go into it.
Okay.
Because that's that dual energy.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting on him, but I'm believing that he's coming back.
Yeah.
You have to decide, have clarity, and you have to detach. Detach doesn't mean I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Detach means I'm gone and I'm moved on.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, I'm open.
Yes.
Go ahead, babe.
Exactly.
I know you're ready.
Oh, yes. That was really good. And I'm so glad that you mentioned this. Okay, so, I mean, the name of this episode specifically is how to get the man to chase and stay with you, right? What you have to understand, ladies, because this is energetics, right? When you are still believing for a specific person to come back, you're praying for him, all this stuff, you are still attached to him. I don't care if you're not talking to him, you're in the FEA, in the Feminine Energy Academy, you're doing your inner work, you are, doing all this stuff, but deep down, you're still hoping and praying that he comes back. You are still energetically entangled with him. So and we've seen this so many times, not only with ourselves, because I had to detach from this guy. Okay. Even though he was amazing, he was perfect for me, but I had to completely detach from him because he wasn't showing up. I was never once like, oh, I hope he comes back. What I had was conversations with God and like, I don't understand what happened here, God. Like he is literally everything that I've been asking for. I feel like we're a perfect match for each other. But he fell off. So obviously he's not meant for me. So I'm clearing space. This is my real conversation with God. I'm like, it's him or someone better. right? So I was not waiting around for him. I was not like, I deleted his contact. I deleted his photos. I wasn't watching him on social media. I wasn't secretly hoping and praying that he was watching me and wanted to come back. Like, I truly moved on. And then, of course, because I was actually detached, that's why he came back. So this is what we teach our ladies. It's win-win for you, girl. Either he comes back proper, like what my husband did, or you have cleared space for your husband who is meant for you to come and find you. And we've seen that a lot with our women, where they've come into the Feminine Energy Academy for healing, because it is hard to detach. We understand that. This is why we created the Feminine Energy Academy, where we help you to energetically and hormonally detach from guys, right? And clear that energetic space for the right man to come to the picture. But it's either the old guy's going to come back, or your husband is going to come find you. And we've seen our women get engaged and married to men after they finally let go of that situationship.
And it's so important that you completely detach. And detach within itself just means detach.
Yeah.
You don't have to completely just detach. It's important because if you don't, the man senses your energy. He senses that you're chasing him, that you're still holding on. And if he senses that, it's really no need for him to change. He'll come with the same energy. He'll come back. He may have a haircut this time, but he's going to have the same energy. He's going to be the same guy. And even if it's not him, whoever comes is going to have that energy. It's like you're going to continue to attract the same guy until you completely detach from the idea. A lot of times it's just the idea of being with that person.
That's it.
It's not even that they're the greatest person.
Yeah.
It's just the idea behind it. So detaching, finding something that you enjoy doing, that's always super important, because you have to fill that space with something that's productive. If you're detaching and you're just sitting around watching TV, binge watching, okay, this new series came out, I'm going to watch this all month long because I don't want to think about him, then you're thinking about him. So make sure you find things that are productive and really, really skill up within yourself and really talk to God about what your next steps are and about how to move forward. Otherwise, you won't completely detach. He'll sense it. Any man that comes in your circle will sense it, and you'll have similar results in a relationship.
Well, and this is why we encourage the ladies to, when you're trying to detach, because I understand how hard it is emotionally, hormonally, and even energetically, spiritually, a lot of the ladies will jump into the Feminine Energy Academy and use that energy instead of obsessing about the guy, and use it to obsess about your glow up, girl. Use it to obsess about your healing. Use it to obsess to identify and heal your love blocks. Skill up. Understand how to actually communicate. Understand how to actually choose a healthy man, because exactly what Coach B is saying, it's not him you're attached to. You're attached to the story that you've fantasized about him. You're attached to the emotional feeling that he gives you when you're together. But you actually have to give that to yourself first, and then the right man will show up. I promise you this, because it happened with me and it happens with all the women that we coach. Yeah.
So we'll get to a couple of more questions. The first one says, I'm 50 minutes away. He texts me sometimes. He hasn't traveled to see me. Been 2 months, but I'm forgetting about him and working on myself and eating healthier.
Good. So I love that you're working on yourself and you're moving on. In those types of situations where the guy hasn't come to see you, and he's showing interest in you, you got to ask yourself, what in me is making it okay to be talking to a guy that is not coming to see me and not making it happen? So it's not even him. He's a mirror about how you feel about yourself. That's why I cut Coach B off so quick. And it didn't drag on. It was like he had his opportunity to come and see me. He had his opportunity to take things to the next level, and it wasn't happening. So for my own self-worth, I was like, sorry, you don't get access to me anymore. You don't get access to all this, this feminine energy, even if it's just conversations, because I would be disrespecting myself by staying and talking to a man, allowing a man to even have phone conversations with me if he's not willing to go to that next step. Okay, ladies? But a lot of women keep entertaining these types of guys. They said that they were going to do something and then they don't. They said that they were going to step up and they don't. They said that they were going to see you. They said that you guys were going to get engaged. They said that you guys were going to get married. They said all these things and they haven't followed through with it, but you are choosing to stay with them. That's what you need to look at, is why am I choosing to stay with this type of guy? That is an inner child wound that needs to be healed, which of course we help you with.
And a
Yeah.
healthy man doesn't want you to detach, but he's
Yeah.
going to respect and understand that you made the correct decision. Because
Yeah.
that even happened with us, where that's
Yeah.
not something that I wanted, but I
Yeah.
had to respect it because looking at what I was doing and how I was moving, it wasn't productive. It wasn't leading anywhere. So don't be concerned about his response.
Yeah.
Do what's needed for you so you can position yourself to be found by a healthy masculine energy man, and whoever that may be.
Yeah. And one other thing, I know you're going to get to a question here. Ladies, what triggers a man to chase you is when you have that space to be chased. A lot of women, and this is for someone listening right now, you haven't even given the man or men space to chase you because you're so busy chasing. When I say chasing, your energy is coming towards them. Your thoughts, your emotions, your energy is just coming towards him. So he has no space to chase you. Men are designed to chase. This is not something that I made up because, we're trying to be manipulative. Look at the sperm. That's how God has designed men. They feel good when they're in their chasing energy. That's how they release that vasopressin to get bonded to you. They need that space to come towards you. And this is in dating and marriage, by the way, okay? You can't just be smothering him all the time in your needy energy. He's not going to want to chase you.
Yeah. So good. So the next question says, what do you think about not blocking someone, but just avoiding them while you detach from your ex?
Yeah, I think that's fine. As long, and you don't need to go around blocking everybody. It really just comes down to, do you have emotional self-control? As a woman, that's going to tell you everything. If you don't have emotional self-control, then if you need to block somebody, okay, block somebody. But I would invite you to look at, is that a pattern for you where you're having to block people because you don't have enough emotional self-control?
Yeah. And like you said, now unless they're coming at you and doing stuff that's, not safe or something like that, and you just have to block them, you don't want to get into a habit of, I'm done with them, I'm blocking them, on every social media outlet. A lot of times that means that in that relationship, it was a lot of stuff that may have gone on that wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
And now you just have to block them so things don't come out, whatever the case is. So, definitely look inside if that's a pattern that you have.
Yeah, I mean, in some situations, if the guy is like stalking you and you need to really separate yourself, then that's okay to block him. But what we're talking about is this a pattern?
Yes.
We're coaches. So what we do is we help you identify your patterns and heal patterns and create new patterns.
So last question, and I see another question from you beautifully said. If we don't get to your question, just jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. Direct message us, Coach Tosh specifically, and we'll help you out with that question. But as a godly woman, I've been working on myself and started attracting high profile, godly men like pastors. But then after a few months, they changed their mind about marrying me.
Okay, so that's a pattern. Do you want to answer before I jump into that?
Oh, well. Well,
I got excited there for a second.
If you have a pattern of attracting men and then things getting to a certain point, basically, and then the relationship falling apart, you want to look at, okay, what exactly is going on? Are you rushing into this? Are they really committing to you, or do they feel like they have to say certain things to get where they want to get in the relationship? Are these really healthy masculine energy men? Because if it happened once, if it's a one-off, then okay, well, it just happened. But if it's not a one-off, if it's continuous, what type of relationships have you had just in life? Is this normal, where things get to a certain point, you may get to the third date and then something happens and they stop calling you? What's going on? So I would say look internally, because you're attracting these guys. It's not that they're high profile. It's not that they're pastors. They can be garbage men, or they can be athletes or actors. It's you. You're the common denominator. And it's the same pattern of getting to a certain point, them saying they want to marry you, and then things crumbling apart and falling apart. So I would say really look internally and see exactly what wombs you have, or what blocks you have in place that are stopping you from being able to attract healthy masculine energy men.
So what that tells me from coaching lots of women is they're physically attracted to you. So that part is because you actually are pursuing you. So that's not the issue, is the physical attraction. So in my experience, the thing that it probably is one, there's a subconscious block that you have about going to that next level. It's like with finances. If you can only get to a certain level in your finances, there's something in your nervous system that doesn't feel safe, even though you want it, to go to that next level. And I had that, by the way, with my husband, right? We're talking about how he wasn't showing up. He was actually mirroring my energy because I deep down had fear of getting married again because I went through a loss in my first marriage. So I had to heal that block. And it was only a couple of months after I healed that block that he came back into the picture. Right? Because they're always mirroring your energy. So it's either that or it is you really skilling up in the area of communicating with a man. There's a lot of women that are beautiful but don't actually know how to make a man feel absolutely obsessed with you while you're dating him. That is a skill set. Okay, that's what I teach my ladies on the Feminine Energy Academy. I don't teach them on YouTube. All right, but when you have that skill set where you know how to talk to him, you know how to have that polarity and attraction in the dating stage and the marriage stage, that's when they want to marry you. And that's why the ladies that we coach, they get multiple proposals, not just one guy wanting to marry them, but multiple men that want to marry them. Okay, so that's what it is. It's either the love block or it's a skill issue for you, which is most women, by the way. Okay, so I do invite you. We have the Feminine Energy Academy is for free to jump in and just try it out. And I encourage you, when you jump in, go to the Start Here section and just binge watch that. I even have, my attraction formula in there, how to date online. We go through man wounds. We go through everything in there, okay? And then private message me as well, and I can also help you get started. And we'll see you on the Masterclass tomorrow as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here now, definitely jump in there.
Yeah.
We'll get to your question as well, but definitely appreciate all the questions, everyone that jumped on. Jump into the FEA so you can join our masterclass tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we can answer any questions, help coach you through exactly where you are to help you get to where you need to be.
Yes, exactly. It's about getting that personal coaching. That's what really changes the game for our ladies that end up getting engaged and married, is getting that personal feedback, that personal coaching while you're skilling up, while you're healing. And then, that's what collapses timelines. That's what allows you to quantum leap into that relationship that you're calling in. But anyway, we love you, ladies.